Here we are looking at Franz Marc's Red Deer, an oil on canvas painting created in 1910 in Munich, Germany.
When looking at this painting, it is apparent that it was executed through the unique perspective that Marc had during the time of the German Expressionist movement.
Yes, Marc was a very important figure in Der Bleireiter, an element of German Expressionism, which was preoccupied with themes of spirituality and freedom. Marc is responding to the trauma of post-World War I, and his art is a socio and political critique. Marc's subjects of animals and nature was something that he saw as an escape to modern conditions of the time.
What stands out the most to me when first looking at the painting is Marc's use of bold, contrasting colors and loose, fluid brushwork along the composition.
I agree. His use of bold, complementary red, yellow, orange, and blue hues create a dark color palette and elicit his use of color symbolism, which was a fully subjective mode to think about color. For Marc, yellow symbolized femininity, while blue resembled masculinity. Red was often used to resemble the physicalities in his paintings. Through color symbolism, Marc is harmonizing color, line, and form.
And we see this color palette used again and again across Marc's paintings, which often emphasize the theme of animals' relationship with nature.
For example, the blues of the hills are placed alongside more realistic green hills to further communicate the idea of nature as a whole by suggesting the presence of water and its relationship to the land.
Similarly, Marc uses dark blue and purple against the green within the sky to make the bold orange color of the deer stick out at the front of the painting, deploying contrast to depth within the image.
When considering his use of line, we notice the white line along the stomach of the deer, which creates a stark contrast against the orange in the rest of their bodies, creating a full form of the animal through the use of implied curvilinear line.
Another aspect of this use of line that stands out is the hill in the foreground of the image. Its color and arched shape mimic the curved back of the deer, unifying them together in nature.
The depth created by these curvilinear lines is just one example of bold line that Marc uses to emphasize the themes in the painting.
Exactly. Every line in this composition reinforces the harmony that exists among the coexisting elements of the natural world.
And as our eye traces the landscape of the painting, we notice the stems and leaves of the plants, the outlines of the clouds tumbling across the sky, the extension of the brown branch bending towards the ground, and the seemingly never-ending rolling hills of the landscape that are all rendered using organic lines that will work together to create this cosmic rhythm.
Marc's deliberate use of loose and fluid brushwork is what creates these implied lines and guides the viewer's eye throughout the painting.
It also creates a fluid use of line, which gives the painting a calming mood. It connects the line of the animals against the line of the landscape, making them unite as one.
Now, looking at the subject of the painting, the proportions of the two deer in the piece are realistic, and they appear to be moving towards the viewer.
They stand alongside each other. Each of their expressions are engaged in opposite sides of the painting, yet they stand at the center together, unified.
And even the scale of the deer emphasizes their presence in nature, that they are just as important as their surroundings.
Although their bodies are confronting the viewer, their gazes are focused on something that we cannot see, which is intentionally excluding us from the image.
And we notice the way the deer are entirely within the space, blending into the elements of nature, creating a lack of depth and an overall flat and two-dimensional space that the viewer could not possibly enter.
As viewers of the painting, we are aware that the animal and landscape are one, implying that we are completely separate from their connection.
In this work, Marc explicitly includes many formal details that emphasize the raw, natural state of deer in the wild.
You know, when first looking at this painting, I did not realize the extent to which line and color were purposely used.
And the mood and message really evoke the importance of these formal qualities and the way they carry concrete spiritual values.
Marc communicates the message of spirituality and unity between animals and nature, two themes that were imperative in this German Expressionist movement.